Hey, everybody, welcome back to Lean by Doing podcast. It's Brian. Today, I have the most exceptional guest you've ever seen. I have Chris Hamilton, and I know many of you have seen him in our improvement videos and maybe some of my videos, but Chris is an absolute treasure of an employee and coworker. So Chris does have autism, and it's something that he's very open about. So that is something we're going to talk about today. And I think that as you guys have seen in the videos, you probably picked up maybe a little bit of it, but he is a really normal person and an awesome human being. And we protect him like he is the most valuable thing, because he is. So let's dive into an amazing conversation that I had with Chris Hamilton. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the show. One of the things that we have these parking spaces out front in the new building, and they're labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they're designed for the first 4 people that come to work to park in. And there has not been a single day that anybody has beat you here.
Correct.
I almost wonder that on your off days, your PTO days, that you're actually going to have somebody drop you off here, drop your car off, and then pick you up so that you can have that spot.
Probably not, because I need my car for those days.
I sent you a video yesterday morning because I got here at like 5:30 a.m., right? And I was like, Chris, I beat you here. It was the only morning that anybody has beat you here. Why is that like such a thing there for you?
Well, when I was going to school for woodworking and stuff, my teacher always said, if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. So I extended that to 30 minutes early.
45 minutes early sometimes.
Yep.
This weekend, we did a Saturday shift. We did some improvement stuff and fixed some stuff. And you and Nick were coming in together. And Nick was like, I'm going to come in at 6. And you were like, oh, I don't want to come in at 6. And then I noticed that you were in the number 1 parking spot when I got here. And I said, Chris, what time did you get here? What did you say?
5:30.
30. You were moaning about getting here at 6, and then you got here at 5:30 so that you could get that spot. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
This is wild.
It is.
To think that Chris Hamilton, of all people, a year ago would never be sitting at this table.
I would have not been sitting here.
And even if you were sitting here, there's zero chance that we'd be able to hear you speak.
Exactly.
I still think that you definitely speak softly.
Yes, for sure.
But you have definitely become way more boisterous in the last year.
I would agree with that 100%.
So before we kick the show off, Chris, one thing I want to just get out there for everybody, just so that it's in there. So many people have seen your improvement videos. They've seen you in my improvement videos, and all of the things that you've done here have been absolutely amazing. And I want to talk about lean. But I want to set the stage because I feel like there might not be people out there that quite understand the disability that you may have. So with that being said, you do have autism.
Yes.
Highly functional.
Yep.
And you can tell that.
I can.
But you do have to deal with that.
Yep.
And you've dealt with it your whole life.
I have.
Can you explain just a little bit how growing up with this gift, I'm going to call it a gift, Chris, because I think you're just phenomenal. How did growing up look like for you?
Growing up, like, it was a little different because I had an aunt and uncle who had autism.
Yeah.
So it was always around me, and I wasn't diagnosed with it till I was going into my senior year of high school. So it was different and kind of a change. It was a blessing, I think, because I finally understood myself.
Right. I couldn't even imagine going through like your entire life wondering maybe why I'm a little different, or why am I struggling to learn in certain areas, and then to finally have that answer. It's probably like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now you came to work for us, and we've talked about your career in the past, and I definitely want to talk about that. So let's go before you started with us. You worked for a company that did woodworking, and you've expressed to me they didn't quite have you in the role you wanted.
Yes.
So could you explain that for me?
I was driving a box truck around the lower peninsula of Michigan and the northern part of Indiana, which at first I enjoyed, but then I was the long hours, and I didn't have a social life, which is really what I wanted.
So then I know that you expressed while you were working for this place, you wanted to actually work in the shop.
Yes.
And they never let you have a chance to work in the shop.
Not really. I mean, there was times where I did, but most of the time I was on the road.
Yeah. You were telling me a story about some long hours where you like drove all the way to like Charlevoix or something, and then had to drive all the way to Traverse City and then all the way home. And, you got home at like 7 or 8 p.m.
Yes.
And that was a pretty regular occurrence
Yes.
in that role. So you came to work for us.
Yep.
And we immediately put you right into production.
Yep.
And how was that?
It was fun. I mean, we had to work on pallets on the ground and stuff, which I didn't really like because I was used to carts coming from woodworking, and it was pretty changed because I'm not used to bending down a lot and picking stuff off the floor.
So let me set the stage for what Chris Hamilton looked like when he started here. You were quiet. You had your arms folded like this a lot. You had your headphones on, and you whispered when you spoke. You never voiced issues.
Nope.
You just worked. You were just a workhorse. Although when we switched to lean, what happened?
I had more of a voice.
Yeah.
I would say I found that voice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was us all coming together for one thing that really helped it out, or if a switch just flipped in my head and said, I need to be more vocal about this stuff because this stuff is bothering me.
We had these little meetings after the big meeting where you came together as like your department. And in those meetings, I started hearing stories like immediately about how Chris is just vocal. And it was like almost like a training ground for you to speak up. Beyond that, we do morning meetings. So you had to host a morning meeting. And can you explain how the first morning meeting went for you? And
well, you were taking volunteers, and I think I messaged you, and I said, I want to volunteer for a meeting because I think it would help me get my nerves out of the way. And Kevin set up a microphone for me, and that's how I led the morning meeting with a microphone, all quiet, talking through the microphone. Yeah.
It was a lot like this. Morning meeting.
It was.
Our mission and vision and values. I mean, it really was. But you were one of the first, I don't know, maybe the first 6 or 7 people that were standing in front of the entire team.
Yeah.
And I felt that really showed everybody else that, well, if Chris can do this, we can do this. And I think it gave a lot of confidence to a lot of people. And I don't know that you necessarily felt that or got credit for that, but you should feel that like your growth has changed so many people here because so many other people feel challenged by you challenging yourself. And it's been amazing to watch. And I think back to like, we started lean and it was that switch like flipped on, right? You started making improvements right away. How did that come to be? Do you even know?
I do not know how that came to be. I just started fixing what bothered me and took off from there.
And there was a lot of things that bothered you.
Yes.
There's still a lot of things that bother you.
Yes.
But they're just like a higher level of like, they're not things that you can necessarily fix by yourself.
Correct.
A lot of them require engineering and intervention or resources that you don't quite have at your disposal.
Correct.
So Chris, I want to switch gears a little bit. One time we had a person absent in packaging. And in our packaging line, we have all these SOPs. Like everything is literally under standard work. And you said, well, I'm free, I can help. So we put you in packaging and you just thrived with those SOPs. And one of the things that I was really curious about it, so I Googled and I searched this and I said, standard work with people with autism. And what I came back was actually one of the strategies that they use for adults with autism is to actually give them standard work. So basically like you would write out the directions for you to do something. And I just thought that was crazy. But do you feel like standard work like transforms how you think?
For sure. Like as soon as I get an SOP in front of me and I read it, I know exactly what I'm doing and know how to do it.
What do you think it has to do with? Do you think it has to do more with like seeing the whole picture before you start, or the confidence that you're going to be able to figure it out on your own? Do you?
The confidence I'll figure it out on my own and seeing it before I do it really helps.
So visualizing the process and now you've created I think you're probably 3rd or 4th on SOP lists here as far as people that have created standard work. It's something I think that you're pretty passionate about. And are you trying to like set other people up for that same success that like you saw?
Yes, I try to lead like my favorite hockey player, Steve Yzerman. Tried to set an example. He wasn't vocal much, but he put in the work and showed that he could do it. That's what I try to do every day here.
I want to go back though and talk about this 180-degree turn in Chris, because I know people have seen it through videos, but I don't know that anyone's felt it in the way that we have felt it. So when I go back and I talk about like this quiet Chris, can you describe how your day looks now and how do you interact with the rest of your team now?
I joke with them. I tell a lot of dad jokes. If something comes up that bothers me, I go straight to like Bryce or Landon or whoever is near me, and I tell them we need to fix this, and then they'll jump on it the next day, or we'll talk about it and then jump on it later on in a week.
And contrasting back to before, what would you have done in those situations?
I would have said it. Nothing would have got done about it.
You would have said something to like maybe Bryce?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that you wouldn't have brought me the amount of stuff that you bring me now.
No.
Yeah. So you're definitely way more comfortable coming and talking directly to me about those problems and struggles.
Yes.
Recently, we had a video showcasing some of your improvements. Can you kind of tell the viewers the backstory of what happened and why you came to me?
Well, it was Friday. You yelled at all of us, and we went through an audit, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you tore the lazy area up pretty good, and I felt that, and I was pretty upset about it, and not happy. And then, there were some tears that day.
Yeah.
And I talked to you later on that day, and I said, I need help. And then you said, you want to come in Saturday? And you set it up. You helped me set up the whole process that we have going on.
Now, when you say like you were frustrated or upset, it wasn't that you were necessarily upset at what I said
Yeah.
as much as the state of what your area was.
Yes.
And so like when you always talk about like you don't feel the level of 3S is high enough. What do you mean by that in your area?
Like, I feel like we struggle with sweeping the floors and keeping them clean, which I talked to Bryce about it yesterday. He said, we're going to try to sweep during material and stuff to keep it better. We already got a plan in place for all that now, which I feel pretty confident about.
So you know, a year ago, you may have brought up this or may not. This wasn't a thing, right? So you really weren't concerned about it. You wouldn't have vocalized anything. You would have just kept working on your pallets off the floor.
Yes,
And it would have sucked.
it would have.
If you could like rate your job now, like if you had one scale of 1 to 10, and I know that you loved your job before we did lean, but like now looking back, you have just over a year ago, Chris, and the job we had. Now we have this job now and Chris, right? And the things that have changed. I mean, like give a scale of 1 to 10 for before to after so people understand the change.
Before, I would say 5.
Yeah.
And then now it's a 10 for sure.
And I think that one thing I would love to highlight, Chris, is like, we didn't change a lot, right? We changed how we interact as people. We changed our culture. We changed a lot of the things that sucked about the work, but the job still feels the same.
It does.
And to go from a 5 rating to a 10 rating in a year is kind of proof to anybody that if you put in the effort to try to make improvements, you're going to improve people's lives. Would you say that, like, highly recommend friends, family to come work here? Is that kind of where you're at?
I am.
And I know that we've all become kind of like your family, right? We're your friends. You go to lunch with all of us. And I feel like that social life that you said that you wanted when you were working at the wood shop and you didn't have, do you feel you have that now?
I do. Like 3 weeks ago, I made friends with Caitlin and Wyatt, and it took me like a week to work up the courage to talk to those two. I was super nervous. I walked up to Caitlin, shaking and all nervous, and I was like, I need to tell you this joke right now. And then the friendship just took off from there, and those two are amazing.
And one of the things that you and I talked about this because you're telling me that you were like wanting to work up the courage to talk to Wyatt and Caitlin. And I was like, Chris, just go talk to them. Like you've been here, you've been here for, well, you're almost 5 years. You're going to get a banner this yeyear.
Yeah.
November, right?
November 28th, I think.
So November 28th, you get the 5-year banner. We'll talk about that in a second. But I said, Chris, they think you're a star. Like, go talk to them. And I wasn't wrong, was I?
No, you weren't.
They didn't even care, did they?
No.
At that point, with any new employees, do you feel like you can just walk up and talk to them at this point?
For sure.
Yeah. And no one's going to like turn you away, Chris. I mean, you're like the sweetest dude ever. You're so nice. You're kind. You're gentle. People feel safe around you. So I just want to encourage you, like even in your regular life, like reach out to people that don't be nervous because you have the whole package, Chris. You really do. And you're just an absolute treasure of a friend and a family member, and you care. And I think that shows. And I think that's why people on YouTube just absolutely are attracted to you and your improvement videos, because I think they can feel that energy that you have. So make sure, like, we have some new guys on the floor now. Have you introduced yourself to them?
Kind of during the exit interview, but
Yeah.
I should talk to them more.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, let's go back. Let's talk about the banners. All right, so I put the 5-year, 10-year banners up in the building before we started. Tell me what you thought when you saw those.
I can't wait to have one up there.
And when is your day?
I believe November 28th, the day after Thanksgiving this year.
And this is really interesting because we haven't had to do like a ceremony or anything for it. We've just put them up. And so you'll actually be the first one. We have to figure out how we're going to do it. So I'm kind of excited to see like what we come up with on it. I know you love sports. So is it like that? Is that the thing that like draws you to it? Is like a retired jersey or a...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like, a retired jersey is perfect. Like, I'll feel like Steve Eiserman when he got his jersey retired.
Maybe we'll have to do like a live stream. Chris's jersey retirement 5-year anniversary banner.
That'd be hilarious.
It would be pretty funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So Chris, I absolutely just want to tell you that I think you're doing a fantastic job. Your improvements are awesome. Your videos are great. They keep getting better and better. Initially, when you were first doing improvement videos, the quiet part of you in the noisy shop was really hard. And I worked with you like sometimes like, you got to like vocalize, Chris, you have to do this. And now you seem to have figured that out. If you were to talk to somebody else who has autism and you were to give them some advice for how to operate in their workspace, what would you say?
I would tell them, just because we're different doesn't mean that you can't do it, because we can. And I think I'm a good example of that, because it's been hard for me a few times, and I've just been powering through it and really pushing myself to grow and to set an example for everyone and to show everyone that I can do it. Even like getting up in the morning meeting, no matter, it's still nervous for me and anxiety, and even being on a podcast a little bit, which I've never been on. I can do it. I think I've proven that over the last year that anyone can do it, especially if they have autism like me.
When you tell people about Lean and what we're doing here, like, how do you explain it to them?
I explain it with a smile on my face, and I'd be like, I love it so much. It's all organized, it's clean. I really love it. It's the best thing ever.
Hey, once again, thanks so much for tuning into the Lean by Doing podcast. I hope you really enjoyed my conversation with Chris. Make sure you send some good vibes in the comments below, and make sure you tune back in next week for another show. Thanks for watching.